Hi again. Um, I've kind of changed tactics a little bit along the Wild Atlantic Way here. I'm about to paddle from Westport. There's a lot of islands around Westport and then round into Connemara with also lots of islands, which means shelter. It looks like it should be fairly calm and shelter between the islands. And so I'm doing this by myself. So I'm just so keen to try and get it finished. And it's April now, 2025. And the weather's actually starting to look quite nice for spring. And I'm just like, let's go. So I'm going myself and I've picked some accommodation just to stay in, on my own and work my way around from Westport, kind of close to where I'd finished off last time, around Clew Bay and make my way around Connemara. So I'm excited about doing that, even though I'm by myself. So here I am at back to Westport because last time I was here it was quite windy and I didn't really get a good paddle out around the islands. Today is a lot better and the sun's out. So I'm just heading out from Murrisk here across and out through the islands and see them already. So looking forward to a second attempt at this. Right. So the good thing about doing it myself is I'm not worried that anybody's getting bored. It's a long drive down and it's also a change in technique because I'm going to be paddling for a few hours and coming in and then driving around a bit more and paddling again for a few hours. So it's very slow going. I'm literally stopping at every single be pier and beach, but I have plenty of time. I'm just doing it by myself, and also it's a bit of a break from the very long paddles. Paddling for 5 or 6, 7 hours, even I've paddled up to 9 hours. And it's really exhausting. And this way I'm just doing shorter paddles, but probably more of them. So I'm saying well, I'm starting at Murrisk, which is just below Croagh Patrick. And you can see what it's like here. So literally just out of the car, driven down, just probably say good 6 hours driving to get there. Um, but at least I've got plenty of time and there's good sunshine. I got it really early. And look, it just looks beautiful. The sea is gorgeous, blue green, and the islands. So you can really see the difference now. Last time when I was in Clew Bay, it was quite grey. It was February. And yeah, now it's starting to look really nice. The sun shining off the water and the mountains behind the little beaches. These islands would definitely be stunning. You could do a trip just in Westport and go around all the little islands. It would be wonderful. So nice whenever it's flat and calm and the sun is glimmering off the waves. That's exactly, or no waves, off the flat calm sea is definitely the way I like it. Um, yeah, so make my way around. The next stop was Rinna Pier, which I have done already. And so keep moving on the car. And this was Bunlock Strand. This is more of a surf spot. Oh yes, no, that bit was just a little bit hard to get into, so I drove on a tiny bit more. Because you never know what you're going to get as you're driving round. And what's going to be, this bit was a little bit easier, just a tiny bit further on round, and this is where the surfers are. So this is a good spot to go out. And there's some guys That's what it is. I thought these, so it's April, so there's little lambs. These are so cute. Look, how cute. Literally watch that over and over. Gorgeous. But look, lovely green, lush green fields of Ireland. Absolutely gorgeous. And then this is it on the road, around the mountainside. So the next destination is I'm going in at a fjord. Actually, I didn't even know there was a fjord here, but in there's special secret waterfalls on the way around. I was coming around to Ross Row. So this is a working harbour, and it's on the side of a fjord. So fjords are, if I've got this right, made by glaciers, I think, and we have three in Ireland. So we've got Strangford, Carlingford, and this part here in Connemara. So this is a little harbour on the fjord. And again, nice and sheltered. Now, I did speak to a local fisherman here, and he said it's very deep in here, but it looks rich with seafood. And he said, yes, you get dolphins and everything coming all the way down in here into the fjord. So I was paddling out. Again, it would be nice to do another trip of just really exploring around there. There's some nice hotels and things I saw when I was driving around. But I'm just trying to make my way around the coast. So I'm literally paddling out and up and down either side of the fjord where I'd finished off last time. Some nice, but you can see the boats, fishing boats, nice and calm. Didn't see any dolphins or anything. But up here you can see, there a lot of fishing going on. I think he said salmon fishing as well. This is the man I was talking to who lives right here and seems to be aware of every coming and going. He's watching his boat. Just imagine, it's right there in front of his house. So did that and then went on round to Letterfrack was the next part. Again, nice and sunny. And this was, I think, towards sunset. And I got, oh, it was beautiful. Super calm. Really quiet there. My poor board's looking more and more beat up. But this board has literally paddled the whole way around Ireland. Miles and miles and hours in the sea. So it's getting a bit of abuse. Letterfrack. This is me. I'm actually in the water in my jumper because
I'm in Letterfrack. Very peaceful.
I was probably getting tired too.
Connemara. It's really stunning. Yeah, on my way to Clifton.
So staying in Clifton, a lot of driving, a lot of paddleboarding. But thankfully it looks super flat and calm here. Letterfrack, really nice. Very peaceful. You can hear the birds and everything. And it's me out in the water. And then look, I thought that looked lovely. Fresh crab. I bet you it's amazing. So yeah, so sort of interspersed in my photos, lots of little weather charts and maps and Clegan Pier here. I was looking at that and the wind and everything for the weekend. I'm always looking ahead at where I could go to, like where is a good place to get in and out of the sea. And because again I'm doing it by myself, it is slow because I'm not cutting any corners. I'm literally paddling in and out of each inlet. This is me driving. I think Clegan Pier must have been the last bit I did, or maybe it was the first bit in the morning. And then heading to Clifton. That's not very far to go. And I was staying here and excited about staying here. So this is me up and at it the next morning.
Good morning. So 7:30 already. It's a bit, the weather's to change today, so I'm trying to head out and the winds to pick up. So I was trying to go as early as I could. That always takes a bit of time, just getting everything organized. But here I am. This is Clegan Pier, and I'm hoping to paddle out from here. This takes you out to Inishbofin Island. I'm not going to go right out to the island, but I'm just going to make my way around the coast here. It looks nice and sheltered at the minute and calm, which is great. It's high tide, full moon last night, so a lot of water. the tide's starting to go out now. So anyway, Connemara has been very beautiful. Really enjoyed checking it all out. Very peaceful and calm. There's a lake here, some swans on it. It's very picturesque.
And so quiet, like so few people around, it's really fabulous place. So this is me out in the water again. Look how gorgeous it is. And I actually, because it was so calm in here, with my yoga, I usually go through mantras when I'm out in the water because that helps me pass the time. And I think in the next video, I'm actually listening. I actually had up my headphones. But this is, yeah, you can see they're farming here for bit loud, but that's one of my mantras I'm listening to as I'm paddling out here. And yeah, it looks really lovely. I think oysters. It's oysters. Anyway, I was also really I love seeing all the birds because as I'm going around the coast of Ireland, a lot of birds, it's their migratory route. I can see them going around the island as well. And this is April, so they're probably starting to come back. I'm thinking that's what's happening with these swans because I can see them flying overhead. And there's a lake over here which happens to have a lot of swans in them. So I'm imagining that maybe they were away for the winter and they're just coming back. Not sure. Anyway, they're all landing over here on this little lake. It's nice. Okay, and then I'm back on the road. There is lots of beautiful white ponies in Connemara, and that one didn't come out so well. It actually looks like a painting, but I wish I'd stopped to take some more photos of the ponies. But literally, I've only got so much time, and so I don't take photos of every single spot, because that takes ages on top of getting the board on and off and getting out and in everything. So here's another lovely little beach which I got to. Heading out. These birds taking off at the same time. I just thought this was lovely. Imagine living there and having a little boat there. How nice. On this part, the sea's really starting to pick up a bit of swell. Maybe I'm just further out now into the sea at this point. Starting to get a bit more swell coming through. Some cows watching me. Another beach, Anchor Beach. I think that looked a bit rocky. I'm not sure if I managed to get out in that bit. Almy Strand. So this was an interesting one here, because that's the island in front now. You can see this is actually the crossing where those little blue signs are across here, the sand. So you can drive across here. I just didn't fancy it because it did look, I didn't want to end up getting stranded. And obviously you can take the boat across too. So it is famous because there's a horse racing along the beach here as well. So this is where you drive down and onto go across to the island. So tide's a bit further in around here, a little bit further around. Kingston Beach. heading out. So I'm literally doing all in between all the islands. So again, if I was doing this by myself, I could probably just been dropped off and cut across a lot of this out. But because I'm by myself, I'm literally hopping along every beach and pier and I'm heading out, which I really enjoyed because I'm seeing a lot more than I would if I was literally paddling along and skipping all this section out. So I was happy enough with that. And it was really beautiful, crystal clear water. You can see nice and clear. Oh, beautiful beaches. Connemara. So the road. I mean, look at these roads. Some of the roads are just like this, and you're just thinking, please hope there's no one coming in this other direction because there's no room for both of us. This is called Sky Road up here, so you can see all the islands below. Again, I think it would make a wonderful holiday destination to come here and explore. You know, you can swim on all the beaches. There was a pony up here, which that's one of the white, beautiful Connemara ponies right in the top here. Another one, blue. And this is Clifton is down in here. So you can see it all looks lots of little inlets and waterways. This is towards where I was staying. And look at these beautiful ponies. Absolutely gorgeous. And I was staying in Clifton. So here's.
So I've just pulled in at Clifton Beach. Beautiful drive the whole way down. It is very picturesque in Connemara and just gorgeous and very quiet. But the weather is supposed to be a lot windier than it is at the minute, so I am pushing on, even though I'm feeling quite tired. I have been on the go since 6:30 and a lot of driving, but a lot of driving yesterday too, hours of it. But I just want to try and get as far as I can. Here we are outside the lifeboat hut here, and that's what it's all about, fundraising for the RNLI. So I'm just want to keep going. So here we are, Clifton Beach.
So this is Clifton Harbour here, right in front of me, and the lifeboat station. Again, it's quite tidal. You can see the tides out, but I managed to get out even though it was quite shallow. And it looked gorgeous here. There's people swimming. And then I made my way around to this one, Bay Beach. Now, it wasn't really it was more of a harbour. And it was quite hard to even get parked down there, so I had to park further up the road. And then this, if you can see this man and his dog up here on the rocks. I passed him when I was walking down, and he was very excited because he was up here watching a basking shark for ages, standing there watching it. So I didn't realize. So he came in, and I was so glad that he'd actually seen it and told me about it. So this is my walk down to the little harbour.
So I'm heading in here to Erislanen Beach. It looks more like a harbour, which is fine by me. But there was a man just walked up from here and showed me some videos of a basking shark. So he says there's a basking shark out here at the minute. So I've got my GoPro is at the ready, and I'll let you know if I find any basking sharks.
I'm not sure if I've actually seen a basking shark at this point. You know, I was you hear that there's so many around Ireland, and I have paddled most of Ireland, even in the North Coast. where I live, you hear about basking sharks, and I've never encountered one. I've always been quite glad I haven't encountered one because they're supposed to be really, really big. And they just swim around with their mouth open and they eat plankton. So there's nothing to worry about unless you end up, in with them not seeing you in their mouth. But that's what they actually look like. And you can see just the little tail fin is tiny. Look how tiny the fin is, and look how long compared to the size of it underneath and the big gills and everything. So this is a photograph of what they did. I wish I'd got the videos from the guy, but because my videos really didn't turn out. But that's all I could see. I could see that bobbing around. There was like a fisherman's pot with a buoy in the top, and it was literally just going round. And it was just the wee fin was just flip-flopping from side to side. And it was only when I was watching it was like, I've definitely seen something like that in the water before, but never knew that that was a basking shark. I've definitely seen them, that flip-flop of a little pointy fin flopping to the sides and going round pots, like lobster pots or something like that. So it was all coming back to me. It's like, I definitely have seen basking shark, but thankfully that's all I've saw, so I didn't realize. And that's what it looks like under the water. So, ooh, it looks really terrifying from underneath. But here I am.
So I saw a basking shark out there, albeit just its tail, but it was a prominent dark black fin, and it was looked like it was feeding around. There's a bright orange ball out there, must be a lobster pot or something, and it was sort of floating around there. You could see this fin going up and down, and then I had my camera turned around and ready as I got closer. But as I got closer, it just went under and just disappeared. And I think I saw it again, but way further out in the middle of the bay. So I reckon it must have heard me or noticed there was someone else in the water, and it just turned on and went out into the middle of the bay, which seems to be my experience with with my fin wheel. It did the same thing. Well, it was my first basking shark, so it's exciting. I probably wouldn't have noticed it, to be fair, if it wasn't for that man who had pointed it out and showed me some videos he had of it. So it was exciting. First basking shark from a distance. It's Connemara. Well, it certainly is beautiful and pristine water. So I'm not surprised that there's basking sharks feeding here.
So it makes sense. It's just like most animals, when they know that there's a human around, they're very cautious, and when there's people around, they tend to just scoot out. Funnily, I was driving on round and then I saw this and I was like, that's just the exact same shape as the basking shark fin. I was looking at it going, that's exactly the same shape. And I kind of thought that's what it was for until I went up close. And
so that's exactly what that thing looks like, albeit a lot smaller. But yeah, that looks like a basket shark fin.
no, it's not though. It was a memorial honoring the achievements of John Alcock and Arthur Whitten Brown, the first men to fly non-stop across the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, wow, amazing. What an achievement. In the morning of the 15th of June, 1919, so a long time ago, they landed their aircraft. So amazing. What an achievement. They had two Rolls-Royce Eagle 8 engines and 350 horsepower each. Well, so anyway, interesting, very interesting, and fair play to those men for achieving that. Yeah, so I just stopped to take a photo there, and driving on, you can see little rivers and inlets. Mannon Bay. And I thought this was so cute. Look, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Donations welcome. How lovely. And somebody been painting shells and things. It's so nice. And this is the beach, Mannon Bay. Looks absolutely gorgeous as well. Beautiful golden sand. Not a soul around. This is like the general theme of Connemara. Gorgeous beaches and no one around. It's just a little video of me heading out between some rocks. That's a nice thing as well. It's so calm, because you're sheltered between islands for most of it and little inlets and things. So it's lots to explore. I would definitely recommend for kayaking or anything, paddleboarding. It's very safe and really lovely. Another little beach, hidden beach, Connemara Bay Beach. So, as you can see, slowly make my way around from Clifton. I'm doing lots of this, lots of driving and lots of this. And then some rolling. So every night, probably before and after, because I'm doing a lot of yoga as well at the same time. So I'm doing my yoga practice and my body rolling. I have to. I got gifted some lovely cards, and I pulled that card. Enough may you be exactly as you are. I thought that was nice. These are sea cards. And this is Clifton, where I was staying. Lovely little town. I was staying in here, and there wasn't any room for me to bring my board in, which always makes me nervous leaving it outside on top of the car. So my car was literally parked out here, and I spent the whole night looking out the window, making sure. Anyway, this is another lovely spot. And you can see all the horses in the field there. Look at that gorgeous, stunning beach. Did get some rainy weather. This was Connemara Bay. I think I had to come back here a couple of times. Connemara Golf Club. It was either low tide or too windy. The wind was picking up as well. This was a nice sheltered beach. And actually, when I got here, it had literally been sat in the car and it was a massive thunderstorm with lightning shooting down into the water. And these guys had run out to take photos. I think it just stopped maybe at this point, but I was in my car. I was actually quite happy for a little rest, and then it was gone. It's a very quick thunderstorm.
So I have to say, Connemara is definitely one of my favorite places now for paddleboarding. There's so many beautiful beaches. It's very quiet. There's hardly anyone around. Nature. I saw basking shark yesterday, and just all the wildlife that's around. It's really stunning and beautiful. And there's so many lovely beaches and quays and piers to paddle from and explore. I would definitely highly recommend.
Listen, all of Ireland is stunning and beautiful, I have to say. I just really enjoyed that. It was a lot of solitude as well. It was so quiet. And just these amazing beaches. You'd turn a corner, you'd go up a wee narrow road, and then you'd come out and you'd be like, wow, look at that. Amazing. This is me. Look at my poor paddleboard getting really chipped away because I've been using it so much. And I'd imagine all the seafood's amazing too. That's me paddling out. Oh yes, and then I was getting round towards a lady. I'd bumped into a sea swimmer at one point, and she had mentioned Dogs Bay Beach, and so I thought, so it stuck in my head. I was quite curious to see it because she was really fussy. That's right. She was about to go in at Murrisk, where I started, and she on my way around Connemara, and she had been like, "Is it clean in there?" And I was like, "Looks pretty good. It's Clew Bay. It looks pretty quick, clean to me." But she was really particular, and she's like, "Oh, you should see the sea on around Connemara and in to Dogs Bay." So she was roaming around looking for a place to spot. But this is it's like a horseshoe bay. One of the finest and most unique beaches along Ireland's Wild Atlantic Way. Unfortunately, though, I think everyone must have found out about this, and it's like all of a sudden I found a really busy spot. And it was actually too busy to. I mean, I was also really knackered, and it was a big carry for me to get the board off the car. There was like a separate parking place, and then it was a good walk down to the beach. But you can see like there's beach on one side and there's a beach on the other. So I thought I'll go on the other side because this is like I was gonna have to carry over the rocks or a big long walk down, and didn't really fancy it. So you see on one side it's Gertine Bay, Gertine, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. You can just see it here. On the other side it's Dogs Bay Beach. So This is what the Dogs Bay beach looked like, which also looked lovely. So anyway, I think I stopped there on that trip. This has been a couple of trips to Connemara to get it all done because there's lots to see and do. And there's some of my photos. I think I'd come around this sort of distance of the last couple of trips. But really excited to make my way towards Galway, and I had friends that I wanted to see down in that area too. So these are a few more places that I was stopping at. And this is me back. And I'm going from Roundstone this time back out to Dogs Bay Beach because this was much easier getting. Even still, it was still quite busy down here at this harbour. Roundstone is quite popular as well. There's a ferry boat heading out. You can see the mountains in the distance. Look at that. Lovely houses. This is Roundstone. So I'm looking at the time. It's 6:30 sunrise. Looking at the tide to see because I kind of need high tide to get in the water. So these are all looking good. You can see it changes from day to day. And this is what the wind's looking like, starting to get strong gusts heading towards Monday. So I'm constantly looking ahead, trying to figure out which bits would be best to do. This wee pier. Glinsk Pier. Sometimes you'll find that there's two piers and one might be much more of a industrial pier where there's big boats coming in and out, and the other one might be just an easy wee slipway, which I tend to like, and because you don't really want to be negotiating around boats as much as possible. So yeah, and look at that. See, it looks like it could be anywhere in the world. Like when the sun shines and this in Ireland, it is absolutely gorgeous. And bearing in mind, this is still April. Still April. And this was a beautiful harbour. I was like, wow, so nice. And the sun was out. There was people swimming.
Another beautiful pier along Connemara coastline. As much as I have been loving exploring Connemara, I'm looking forward to getting it finished and making my way to Galway today. Beautiful crystal clear water, a little bit of wind today. Very good.
Oh, lovely clear water. Shimmering. I always love it when it's shimmering like that. I'm like, yeah. It just feels very magical being out there when the water's all sparkly and shiny and the sun's shining. And look at that. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So all the different piers. This is going round Dogs Island. So I'm slowly making my way sort of in towards Galway Bay. Look at that, it's a water slide. This is a nice sheltered bay as well. Really lovely. So lots of sheltered spots, nice countryside, all these sort of wooden stone walls have just been rock on rock. assembled. So I'm driving round. There's another lifeboat station here. Little slipway and pier where I went in. Winey roads. Coral Strand. Yes, I remember coming up to this. This was actually quite busy again. More cars along here and people camping probably. And then this is up here. This is a little easier getting in and out of. I always like getting in and out of piers, to be honest, because I can stay dry. There's not so much risk of me falling in and getting wet as there is with the coming into on a beach. Although generally, especially these trips when I'm going by myself, like I've literally picked the best weather, so it's totally flat. Generally, if I'm driving all the way there, I'm picking a day that the conditions are good. I'm free, and then also it's flat and calm, low wind. So you can't really tell until a few days before. So I'm constantly looking for on my little I use Savvy Navi as well for it's a sort of sailing and paddleboarding app. And I'm always looking for blue means low wind. So if I see a big stretch of blue, and then I'll check and see what the swell's like. And if I can see that it's really low, like maybe 0 to 2 foot swell or something like that, it's worth the while making the drive to go down and get it done. Some pier, busier pier here. Say marina. And field of donkeys. Lovely white pony. This is a little slipway that was quite narrow. I remember driving around here. There's somebody doing a drawing, quietly sketching the area, and there's another man down with his child, and there wasn't very much room to turn. Like you just don't want to have the car falling over the side of the pier, obviously. But that's me paddling out around the pier from here. And then on round Spiddle, big sandy harbour here. And it was getting windy too. It's starting to get choppy at this point. Now, this is exciting because from here now I can actually see across. This is Galway Bay. Again, if I was by myself, no, if I was with somebody, if I was with the kayakers or a boat, we could probably have crossed over here. Now, I had been warned it's very dangerous currents in Galway Bay. But I didn't have kayakers or anybody organized to go with me, so I was just literally hugging the coast the whole way around. So it was a lot longer and slower than if I had it's just trying to get the perfect conditions where I'm free and somebody else is free to drive down there and do it. It's really hard. So I just decided, you know what, I'm free. I'm just going to scoot round really slow. Well, say scoot. I'm going to be just going really slowly around the whole of the coastline for this rather than cutting any corners. But that's Galway Bay over there, heading way up towards the Burren, which is where I'll be heading to. You can see there's Spiddle on the map, and right across there, Ballyvaughan, and then Doolin, and up here towards Cliffs and Moors, right here too. So this is Galway. So, I didn't need to go the whole way in and round, but that's what I did. And same with all these little islands, it's like little island hopping all round and in and out the whole way round. And all of these where you could probably just cut across, cut corners if I'd been with other people. But anyway, I enjoyed it. It was slow, but it was good. And I'm now making my way into Galway and then back out safely to the main thing. Born up here, was excited getting here because I was meeting friends that I knew from America who lived in Ireland. This is born up here. It's lovely. So here we are. We've gone for coffee, and there I am with Ailish and Crystal. So nice to see some friends on the way around. It's not the most sociable trips because I never know when is a good time. So literally, I'm usually driving around thinking, oh, I need a break, or what, weather's going to change. This is when's a good time to meet anybody, and then I'll send out feelers. Anybody free to meet up? Because it does seem like I've got a lot of friends on the very far side of Ireland, so you're talking like 7 hour drive to see them. What's that last harbour? So anyway, that's it for this trip. And yeah, so making my way finally round Connemara and into Galway. So really pleased about that. Progress, some progress is better than none. Always like to be trying to get a bit further. Everyone thinks I'm mad driving all the way down there, but it's absolutely stunning. I love exploring and I feel like I'm covering a bit more each time. Anyway, thanks for watching.